All right, Bismillah. So this is the last part of limiting reactant problems, and in this case, they've given us two reactants, CH4, methane, and oxygen, and they're both reacting and combusting to give you CO2 plus water. Right? And the question is, this is a typical limiting reactant problem that they're going to tell you if you have 8 grams of CH4 and 16 grams of oxygen. So they're giving you both of the reactants amounts, and then they'll ask how much of one of the products, in this case water, how much of water will be produced. Right? Okay, so the way we solve these problems is, first thing we have to do is find the limiting reactant, and we have done this in the previous video. So first find the limiting reactant. That is extremely important, and that has to be done first. And secondly, use the moles of the limiting reactant for our calculations, right? So we'll show you how we'll do them both step by step. Okay, how we find limiting reactant. This we have done it in the past. Again, what you have to do, this is a slide from the previous video. First thing, you find the limiting reactant, and the way we do it, we take the grams of the reactant, convert them to moles. So 8 grams of CH4 is converted to moles. We have 0.5 moles. Then you take the 16 grams of oxygen and you convert them to moles, and then you get 0.5 moles. And then using the moles of the reactant, we find how much of each of the product or any one of the product could be produced. And this was here, in this case, we wanted to know how much of water could be produced. So 8 grams, 0.5 moles, 16 grams, 0.5 moles. Then we use the moles of CH4, 0.5 moles of CH4, and we find how many moles of water. In this case, we get 1. 0.5 moles of O2, this guy, will similarly will get 0.5 moles. And I'm not explaining here how this is done, but I have done it in the previous video. So please take a look at the previous video to figure out how we get these guys. So the reactant which gives the least product, right, will be the limiting reactant. So oxygen here, 0.5 moles of oxygen will give you 0.5 moles of water. 0.5 moles of CH4 will give you 1 mole of water. So this is too much. The one which is the least product, that is the limiting reactant. So oxygen is a limiting reactant here. Okay, so once we have found that, right, and then we basically use this amount. So we slide and we say, well, 0.5 mole of O2 will give us 0.5 moles of water. So we use this to calculate how many grams of water can be produced. So we know moles is equal to grams over formula weight. So grams will be equal to moles multiplied by formula weight. The moles of water is 0.5 moles of water. The formula weight of water is 2 times 1 for hydrogen plus 16 for oxygen, 18, and that will give you 9 grams, right? So of water will be produced. So that is how you do these problems. So again, we find the limiting reactant, use the limiting reactant to find one of the products. In this case, they wanted water, so you find how many moles of water. Once you find the moles of water, we use this equation to figure out how many grams will be produced, and the answer would be 9 grams.